Hey everybody, welcome back. I am here to talk about the Celestant Prime and not chew bubblegum. It's done, and I was hoping to have more videos about it, but as it turned out, I had a fairly busy month up until the end of the month. And trying to fit in getting this completed didn't really open myself up to too much in the way of video creation. Although I did do a video on the spatter effect, which I did use on the bass a little bit. There are scattered stars along the swirlies on the bass. And those are all done with an airbrush. And I really liked how the effect looked, and I don't think I'd ever had an opportunity to utilize that technique with an airbrush before. So I went ahead and did a video on that and managed to keep it really short. I've gotten complaints in the past that my videos tend to be longer than they necessarily need to be. But you know what? I'm not going to apologize for that. I do what I do. You can't make me do something else. But every now and then I'm able to squeeze out a little bit of a shorter one. And of course I also did the video on doing the metallics, and I gotta say, super pleased with this gold. Really could not be happier with it, I don't think. And that I thought that was a really good test for the Warcolors metallics. And in case you didn't know, this model is almost all Warcolors paints. And I know I mentioned them so much now that I'm starting to feel like a paid spokesperson. Although I'm not. It's just that I have come to love those paints in a way that is kind of rare for me. I'll try any paint once and tend to put it into, you know, a category of this paint will work well in this way. This paint will work well in that way. You know, here are reasons to use these paints over that paints. And for the most part, there's a lot of overlap between all of the hobby paints. And so it would be easy enough to just say, well, I could use just these paints all the time, and maybe this paint isn't as strong on this or as another one in like base coating, for example, let's say, but I can still get it done, and that's pretty much true for all the paints. But what I've found that these paints are really strong for is blending, layering. They're just really good at that, and something I've never been fond of doing, which is really thinning paints a lot with just water, because there's so many reasons why that never works for me, is not the case with these paints. I can just use water. I've noticed that my consumption of airbrush medium has dropped significantly, and it's not that I don't use airbrush medium with these paints. I do when I'm airbrushing, but I also like to use airbrush medium when I'm thinning my regular paints for other purposes. But this is finally a paint that I feel like I can just use water, and that's fine. And you can also, if you thin a lot with water, you can still blend and glaze and do all kinds of things that I would normally feel like I would need other substances in order to make it work. So I don't know why that's such a big deal for me, but it is. The sort of accent color, aside from the gold, is the turquoises from the Warcolors range. And the only real things that I used that weren't Warcolors were the shades. And if you saw the metallic tutorial, then you saw me using the shades. I used some Flesh, and I used Irex Earthshade, and I used, over here, I used some orange, some Fuegan orange in these areas up here to sort of give that a little bit more of a fiery glow. but like the wings are from the blue-gray range as well as white. Same thing on the this outer cape. The inner cape is from their orange range. Same thing on the orange swirlies, the shooting stars or what have you. Again, blue-gray. I was really sticking with this theme of blue-gray, orange, and then with the kind of turquoise accent throughout. And all of the metallics, oh, actually, I was going to say all the metallics are watercolors, but that's not true. On the base, oh no, actually these are all watercolors as well. I thought maybe I used Vallejo as a base coat on here, but I did not. I used pretty much the same metallics on there as I did here. So, yeah. I keep looking for areas where I might have used other paints. On the base was... I have some Vallejo washes. They're like armor washes that I like using on my bases because they're very, very earthy. The kind of foliage on the base is sort of a technique I've been playing with recently. Let's see if we can get up a little closer here. All the little green bits. So what I've been doing is taking that kind of sponge flocking, and I think in this case it is Train Scenics. I can't remember what it's called, but it's the stuff that usually used for like train layouts. Anyway, it's essentially just broken up sponge, and this is the dark green. And what I do is I, instead of just gluing it down, I actually soak this stuff in matte medium. And then, you know, when it's really nice and saturated, I put it on the base. And then when it dries, not only is it adhered well, it's solid. And then I paint it. And because it's not shifting around and moving, you have a really nice painting surface. So I've been using that more and more, and I like how that works out. Yeah, it's nice. I had another project, another Sigmar project that I was working on recently, where I kind of did one like this and then one just gluing it down, and I was so much happier with the one that I had soaked it in matte medium. But anyway, that's kind of it. Like I don't have too much else to say except that I'm thrilled with this project. And I know Adam, who is getting this, who is our prize winner, is also very excited. I'm happy that he's happy with it. But this is a bear. Just this project was not a simple project. I know I ranted about the price of it, but I have no complaints about the model itself, and it is super dynamic, and the base is really cool. But it is a bitch to put together. It is a bitch to paint, because the more you assemble before you paint, the harder it gets. And even though all I assembled to start with was the swirly part of the base and some parts of the armor, like I attached the back half of his armor to this cape, and that shouldn't have done that, and and some other little bits, and there's like almost nothing that I assembled where as I was painting I thought, you know, I probably shouldn't have assembled that, which almost means that maybe you shouldn't assemble it at all before you paint it. But I think I would have had real trouble with not assembling the base, because the way it goes together, I would have had to have gone back and touched it up something fierce after assembly anyway, because I don't think I could have done it without screwing up the paint. So maybe that was okay, but I did, you know, imagine trying to airbrush these things with it assembled. I didn't put the lower base on, so it's really just the swirly parts, and trying to, like, you know, get here and airbrush down here and down here, and, you know, aiming between all of these things in such a way that not only were you going to be able to get the paint where you wanted to go, but you were keeping it off of the places that you didn't want it to go. So yeah, super challenging. But that's it. I got some pictures of it. I've got a few photos so you can kind of see in more high resolution what this thing actually looks like, and I will be showing those to you as I finish up here. But again, thank you for watching. If you liked the video, if you like how this turned out, hit like on the video. And if you want to make sure you see more of my videos in the future, be sure to subscribe if you haven't done that already. And hey, I also want to thank all of my Patreon subscribers. The number is slowly growing, and I appreciate all of the support that I'm getting from you. So thank you all. And that's going to do it for now. And stay tuned for the pictures, not the videos. You just watch the video. Stay tuned for the pictures. Don't go away just yet. But I will talk to you later. Bye.